Hello and good evening. This is just a very quick update, a bit of a workbench update rather than on the layout. So what I've been up to over the last couple of weeks has been trying to get this to work. And so 2mm fine scale, like anything else, you can buy full kits. You can buy conversion kits where you just have the wheels that drop into a commercially available, ready to run locomotive. Or you can do this where you build a chassis for a commercial kit. So you don't have to build the locomotive as well. You can just build the chassis. So I built this. This is my first one. It's my first time with coupling rods and having to set the quartering so everything's equal, and that worked great. I had to figure out a way to mount the motor and to have the motor engage with the drive shaft through this worm. So it's really hard to focus, but if you maybe see there, it's a V cut into the drive shaft on one side and a pinpoint on the other side, and that works really nice. Little dog clutch there, and I just fixed that in with a dab of super glue, so this can just be pulled out if I need to, and I will need to because it doesn't work properly. And the reason it doesn't work is because this worm gear here needs to mesh quite, not very tightly, but fairly tightly with this idler gear here. And that transfers the rotation of the motor this way into the gear going that way and then into the wheels. About half the time it works fine, and then the other half the time it bounces out of mesh and just spins in place, and you can see it's torn up all the edge of the worm there. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. Firstly, from the top, if you look down, it's not square. It's off quite a lot actually. And additionally, I had to mess around with this to get this worm working. The shaft going through the worm is 1.5mm. The shaft on the motor is 1mm, so you have to use like an adapter shaft that sits between the two, but they only give you a certain amount. It wasn't long enough, so I spent lots of time bodging it, and I think I ended up opening out the holes more than they needed to be opened out, as well as it being slightly bent. And probably more presciently, I was trying to remove these wheels because the clearance wasn't enough. It was jamming. So I managed to separate one out. Then I had one in by itself with this muff, and this muff was keeping the axle captive. So knocked it down from the top like this. Thought I was knocking the wheel out, and in fact I was just bending the chassis in a really awful way. So I managed to get that roughly square, but it was never going to be as square as it was when it came out of the etch. So yeah. Overall, it's been a great learning experience getting this to run, and if I attach clips to the terminals, I can get it to run okay. I've got a previous video showing it running. The problem is when it's running like that, this doesn't align positively enough. I may give it some yanks and some twists and just see if I can get anything else working. I think the reality of it is, though, that for the sake of the £10 or £15 for a new etch, I'll have to do that. So, unfortunately, that's my update. It's not been successful from an output perspective, but from a process perspective, I'm really pleased. There's a lot of new stuff I tried on this, and I'd say it all came out well in the end. Like, everything worked that I wanted it to work in the end. I just need to do it so that it works the first time, and I don't have to deal with that technical debt from it failing the first time. So, yeah, I hope that's been an interesting update, and hopefully next time there'll be something maybe a bit more productive to show.